Welcome back to Francorchamps. Apologies for a small technical difficulty, but until we get pictures back, we'll try and give you an update on the race. Maciejewski continues to lead. Topi Kortaniemi had to fight his way through in the prototypes to try and get his way back up to second, but it's now 6 seconds between himself and the leader. Sintez Galindo got promoted into third. What's the situation down in the GTOs, Adam?
In the GTOs, Yuka Leskala almost broke away from Phil Lake, but Phil was able to claw him back at about lap 8 and then is now within a second, so he's holding on to that position. Reed Miller has hung on to third position over Javier Del Olmo, but those two continue to battle. They've swapped positions multiple times over the course of this race. Just had a wreck of the GTPs between Pablo Suarez and Richard Holt, both of them wrecking each other as they came up in the approach to the bus stop. But as far as the rest of the GTOs go, Nick McConos up to 5th position over Franco Scurry, who's dropped back to 9th after he's had an incident himself. Marco Lay, Gianluca Gabbiani, and Robert Plumley are all battling themselves for the 6th position. The last of the top 10 is Ryan Van Hurst.
So we've lost Lincoln Twet, Tim Wilkinson, Natun Cameron, and Volin Gajic are out of this race. Looks like Ove Trangray just managed to get by Timothy Vaughn, who actually had an accident, it appears, coming through No Name. So that promotes Ove Trangray up to 5th. Vaughn is still running, but he's down in 6th. He had a little bit of a contact with the inside wall through that left-hander. He's being chased by Fabian Jungbluth and Martin Krajcik for the time being, and it looks like Jungbluth is going to have an easy pass. I believe the 13 of Vaughn is limping at this point.
Yeah, major damage to the left rear of that winged machine, so he's going to be losing a ton of speed on the straights. It's going to be a little unstable through the corners as well. So you're going to see Vaughn slow on the straights, but wow, that was Shane Gray holding up Fabian Jungbluth and Martin Krajcik now as those are battling. Look at the three of them as they try and snake their way through the pack.
Krajcik able to get up into 7th, and now looks like he might have a run on Jungbluth there. That's Jungbluth in the blue and white, Krajcik behind him, and the white and orange coming down into the braking of the bus stop chicane. Nobody makes any moves. They're going to stay in line. And again, this is the battle for 6th that you see on screen.
Absolutely. So these folks are battling for 6th position. Jakub Maciejewski up to that 6.5-second lead, with Aitor Sintez Galindo 2 seconds behind him, and Fern Grau another 7.5 seconds back. So the top 4, top 5 really are pretty solidly locked up, but Vaughn very much unstable with the rear of that machine. He's fallen off of this battle now. It's now just Fabian Jungbluth and Krajcik for 6th.
Should be a lot of slipstream up the Camel straight here. So will Jungbluth be able to avoid? No, man, he is slow even as soon as they get to the top. Krajcik with a fantastic run pops out to the inside and should be able to outbrake him as he's got the desired line here into Lacombe. He is through. Krajcik now into 6th.
Yeah, good move from Krajcik there. Fabian Jungbluth held up, can't find a way through. He's got a good speed now. He could try and take the dive down. Krajcik on a defensive line. Here they go around the hairpin. Jungbluth trying to do it around the outside. He's going to get the job done.
So Jungbluth back by on Krajcik, not going to sit down and take that one as the number 6 is into 6. Krajcik falls off quite quickly as well, so he's going to have to regroup and get back into that one. In the meantime, we just had a problem with Marco Lay. Marco Lay down in the 29 has gone very wide. He's going to lose a spot to Franco Scurry down in those GTOs, and that was just him dipping the wheels into the grass, I believe, into La Source.
Yeah, missed his braking point right behind Gianluca Gabbiani into La Source. It just got his left rear wheels. Oh, we've had a spin, I believe. Who is that in the background who just spun out?
That's Mascara. Looks like. Yeah, in the 12 coming out of Fanyes. Trying to see if he dipped a wheel. No, he just spun the tires up on his own and had to lock it down before it went into the barriers. Thankfully, did not hit anything, but he falls into 11th. That'll promote Nim Cross into 10th now.
Yeah, Nim doing a decent job today, trying to get his way going forward, but currently only holding position because he had a couple of issues early on in the race that put him slow going up the hill after a Rouge. Speaking of slow, that's a very slow car going around La Source.
Trying to figure out if that's John Keefe. No, that's Espargarga down there for some reason. And he's starting to finally pick up a little bit of pace, but he still looks a little bit off speed. I'm not sure what's going on with the 37, but it doesn't look like that's a healthy car.
And we just had a gigantic wreck with Juan Aragones, who wrecked right in front of our leaders in the GTOs. If we could get a replay of this as he spins out again, that would be amazing.
So seems like he's also having some trouble here in that number 20 car. He's going to try and get it rolling. This was down through Stavilo.
So this is shortly after his wreck. Here we go. On what we're going to look at his wreck. He just spins it out coming off of the corner here and ping pongs off of the inside wall right in front of our leaders.
And both managed to avoid. Now, that is actually a very close race on its own that you saw flash by. Leskala and Lake have been stuck together less than half a second for many laps now. Lake does not want to give up any points to Leskala that he can at this stage. He knows that he can't afford a few, but the fewer chances that he offers up to this multi-time champion, the better.
Yeah, this is a good run from Phil, but I think it's too early for him to make a move. 16 minutes left in the race. He's satisfied being right here. In fact, if he finishes in second today, that's a good position for him. But Phil is Phil, and he's going to challenge Yuko anyway, but Yuko is wily. The man breaks just a touch later than Phil, still manages to hit the apex, and stays ahead of him. These two know each other like forwards and backwards. Oh, Yuko with a little bit of a misshift coming off of the corner allows Phil to look to the inside, but Yuko has it covered again.
Yeah, but the thing is that he knows how consistent Yuko is, and he doesn't want to try and let him have any sort of gain on those points. He likes having this comfortable lead, and he wants to keep it if possible. So I think Phil's going to be fighting every inch. Both of these drivers have multiple championships here in Kamel. So this is a clash of the Titans that has been bubbling up. But in the past, Lake just can't seem to get the consistency. But this season, it seems to be much more in his favor. And now Yuko is the one on the back foot.
Yeah, it really is a switch of consistency. Phil has been the consistent one. With Yuko being inconsistent this season, he's had missed shifts and off tracks and self spins that are really not characteristic of Yuko's racing up to this point. Now, we know that Yuko was ill over the last couple of weeks, but these incidents were happening before that. Now, we've had a nice pass from Javier Mascara on Nimcross Jr. for the 9th position in the GTPs. Javier making it up the inside and able to get past Nim. And it looks like Timothy Vaughn had a slowdown going up Radion, and he had to back off on the straightaway.
Yeah, and you can see them back here. There's a lot of battles going on, honestly, because Del Omo might be able to overtake on Miller right now. Oh, but he has to back out when they went through Blanchemont. They were side by side for a brief moment. You can see he's still hot on the heels of the third place driver.
These two, if they don't wreck each other out of this race, are going to be finishing this race smiling no matter what positions they finish in. I will tell you, Reed Miller and Javier Del Omo have been side by side multiple times this race, and it does not surprise me to see them go side by side again. They've been like this for the last 10 laps, Joe, so it's, I mean, this is the kind of race that you dream of when you sign up for iRacing.
Absolutely, and they've raced against each other many times already, so there's definitely respect between them and some knowledge about how each other is going to race. But let's see who gets the run off of Radion. And often this is crucial coming onto the Kamel straight. They're going to have Azelis in front of them, a lapped car, so he's not a part of this battle except for the fact that he could create a pick, and they're not going to catch him before the braking. And in fact, he might be in a horrible spot for one of them here.
Yeah, but that being said, it did keep Reed Miller out of draft attack range from Javier Del Omo. Now, Reed's going to dive to the inside here, and so is Javier. Javier's going to have a good run off the corner. Let's see whether or not he takes the inside lunge. Reed Miller can break a little bit later, and they break about the same time. Javier's got the inside position, and he's going to force Reeder on the outside, and the GTO does not like to make that move. Javier, stronger off the corner, able to take the position away.
Nicely done on that one.
Train Raid had a problem.
He did. He had a big problem, and this unfortunately was traffic, which, well, it wasn't completely traffic. I wonder if he had a technical issue. Let's take a look at the number 10 here, because this, it almost looked like the curb at first. Watch this, and then the car's just going to keep veering.
I guess I'm going left. Yeah, that looks very much like a technical issue to me. Either a wheel failure or a sim failure, but something happened, and the man just turned left when he's supposed to go right.
Well, that immediately ended his race, and he is now the latest retiree. We've also lost Suarez, John Urban, Patrick Hanauer are also gone from this race. Back to the lead here with our GTOs, but a bit more distance than what we saw before. Leskala now about 6/10 ahead of Phil Lake. Will they have any more traffic coming in behind them? They've got Maciejewski, our leader, coming in maybe about half a lap here.
Yeah, so they've got a little bit of space here, and Phil needs to close this gap just a touch more to be comfortable. Ukaleskola starting to lock up that front inside tire as he tends to towards the end of these races. He's looking like he's struggling a little bit with turn in. That being said, he did just early apex the corner that time around, so very interesting to see how this is going to pan out. It's going to come, I say it again, I think it's going to come down to traffic between the two of these guys to see who's going to take this win. Phil Lake 6/10 back and starting to gain on the straightaway, so this should pull him up to 3/10 back of Ukaleskola by the time they reach the end of the straight, and it is about 4/10 under braking. So this keeps Phil Lake within reach, but not within passing zone. 12 minutes to go.
Here's the onboard with that now famous Cylon cam, and he is trying his darndest to see if he can get within reach. But I mentioned Machajewski. You saw a bit of him in one of the shots along the Kamel Straight. He's now getting ever closer to these two, is kicking up dust. Leskola is stretching the edges of this track as far as it'll go.
Absolutely. Leskola's going to keep putting the pressure on, trying to make his way through, trying to get as far away from Phil as possible. He's not going to want to be holding up or measuring his time very much because he wants to try and stretch that gap. A nice battle for 6th position in the GTPs, though, between Kraytrick and Seamus Power. These two have been brought together by traffic as they just passed the battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th between Gabbiani, Ole, and Scurry, and that is in the GTOs.
Yeah, Kraytrick only up 2 positions from where he started, having been in a little bit of his own trouble. And Seamus Power just hanging on to the back as, they're going to split either side of the GTO. Azale is thankfully holding station.
Yeah, absolutely. So a great run there for both of them to try and cut through that pack. So yeah, it was a great move for sure for them to hang on to those positions. Seamus Power now he's gonna have a good shot at a run here on Kraytrick, as Kraytrick got held up a little bit by Plumley. So Power's gonna have to decide where to go. He's gonna take a look at the inside. Kraytrick's gonna give him the room. This should give Power the position as they go through the corner, and it will. Kraytrick has to back out of it.
Brave stuff there from Seamus, and could he put a car between himself and his rival? Maybe he wants to. He really wanted to, but it was just not there. That's Nick Bucano's 5th in the GTOs, and he's not in any mood to give up too much time right now. Eventually, they're both going to streak by. They were also catching up pretty quickly to Fabian Jungbluth there in 5th position.
Yeah, absolutely. So they need to keep pushing, and they'll be right on Fabian Jungbluth. But I would love to take a look at the battle for 3rd again in the GTOs with Javier Del Olmo and Reed Miller, because I think Reed's got a good shot here on Javier as they come up the hill. He's just about at the right spacing behind Javier to make a pass here on the straightaway. Javier immediately defensive. He's going to hold off the inside. Reed's going to have to do it late on the brakes and a sweeper on the outside to make this work.
Both of them try to send it in as deep as they dare, but it looks like Del Olmo wins the day on that one. Reed Miller tries to fight back a little bit, but a little peak does not give him anything for the time being. Jungbluth goes by, and that means our battle between Power and Kraytrick is right behind. Kraytrick's back in front of Power, actually. So we missed a pass on that one, and look at them get held up as Kraytrick tries to box in Seamus.
Absolutely. Seamus Power, though, trying to do the sweeper on the outside, possibly taking it 3 wide here into Pouan. Thinks better of it. Now they're going to have to dive up the inside of Del Olmo, which will take him off of the apex. So that should give an opportunity to Reed Miller if he wants to take it into Lefani's.
Whew, that got sketchy for a moment, but everybody held their cool. And no change of position, interestingly.
Phil's made it past Ukaleskola.
Ooh, and I know Phil was having a bit of chatter with one of the GTPs as he didn't seem too happy with him. That was a mistake from Leskola. We need a replay on this one if there's no pass here. Well, as we do go and check it out, this was down into Pouan. Wheel into the grass, catches the drift with that 4-wheel drivetrain, but unfortunately, it does hand it over. If we come back live, they're side by side now into the bus stop.
Absolutely. Phil did not cover the inside. You know, you guys got to take that every single day of the week, and he's got a better run off the corner. They're still side by side as they cross the line. They cross the line with only 2/1000ths of a second separating them. Phil trying to be later on the brakes, but here they come into La Source, and it's still side by side as they come off the corner. They're going to be side by side at the hill at this rate. Yuko backs out of it. Yuko does not want to. They're still side by side. Here we go up the hill.
And it looks like Yuko finally gives way, but this means he gets the tow coming up the Kamel straight. They're going to be overtaken by Jungbluth briefly. He'll easily go by, and he's going to pull a little bit of tow from that GTP. Leskala getting tricky, using the competitors as an advantage here in this battle. He breaks just a little bit deeper. Lake is valiantly trying to just grip that lead, but unfortunately, he has to give it up.
Oh, he still wants to get on and get Leskala, but now he's got Kraytrick and Power sneaking up the inside as they continue to battle. Lake's going to try and follow Power through. This is going to give Yuko Leskala a little bit of trouble as he tries to go around the outside, but Phil Lake doing a great job hanging on to that position. He's going to try and power out and try and get past Yuko Leskala. It's go time for Phil for sure. He's going to look to the inside of Puan, but think better of it.
That mistake from Leskala through this very corner last lap has woken up this battle for the lead something fierce. I'm starting to think the way they're fighting, this is going to come down to the last lap at the last corner to figure out who's going to win this one.
Absolutely, but Phil looks much stronger on the brakes than Yuko Leskala at the moment. So very interesting stuff from them for sure as they continue to duke it out for the lead.
As this is happening, don't need to go to it. Maciejewski does not seem happy with the lap traffic. He's been on the radio complaining about some of the slower drivers. He did not have an incident, though, just got a little held up, but hopefully that doesn't cause him any more problems out on the track as we come down to Blanchimont once again. And another tow from Leskala, but it doesn't look like Lake is close enough this time, and so I think he's going to stay behind.
No, Phil's trying to cool off his tires a little bit, be a little bit more conservative, and he's going to try and, you could see how much the inside tire is starting to lock up for Yuko Leskala. That means that he's heating up those tires by doing those lockups, which means the next time they go into Pua, which is the long sweeping downhill left-hander, Yuko Leskala could possibly have another issue. Yuko off of the apex this time as they go through La Source.
Yeah, he's the one this time that's going to lock it up big time. But look at this. This is a battle that we're on board with. There was a battle. Nim Cross had caught up to Mosquera. Looks like he dropped off slightly. So Mosquera is going to use the off track to his advantage, but it still slows him up. And here comes the likes of Nim Cross Jr., who we were riding on board with. He's going to get a run. He's going to look for it, but he doesn't have the brakes.
That was a great attempt from Nim Cross, just not quite close enough to get past Javier Mosquera, not quite close enough to be able to say that he owned that inside line, so he backed out of it. He'll have another shot. But Yuko Leskala is definitely clinging to first position now. I'm not sure he's going to be able to hang on to it, though. He just doesn't have the turn in. Look at that. You can see it right there as they go through the corner. It's just so hard for Yuko to get that car to turn. It's just really struggling on the front end right now.
It's so strange how things have switched around between these two. Lake now the one with the tire advantage as Leskala keeps smoking him up, unable to control what is happening underneath him. And we're down to 4 minutes to go. Maciejewski crossed the line shortly ago. So we should see, I believe, 2 laps left.
Oh, it looks like Javier Mosquera's had an issue. It was a self-spin. He's now recovered, but he gives that position up to Nim Cross Jr.
Yeah, there's that. That's what that smoke is right there that you see. And oh, that was bad timing for Lake. He got cut in by JD Walker, who was trying to run away from Richard Holt. Actually, no, Holt is not on the same lap.
Ooh. Yeah, and if we could go down to P9 in the GTOs, Devin Donaghy has gotten to the back of Franco Scurry and is trying to get past him. Donaghy was recently behind Gianluca Gabbiani, but passed him and clawed his way 2 seconds up the road to Franco. So Donaghy, one of our onboards today, trying to make his way around Franco Scurry.
Giving us a very neat onboard as well. Now, we've seen this view before from him with his VR setup, just facing the wall, doesn't need to look at anything. But look at this. How cool is that? Shows us his pedal movements as well. Not many drivers willing to show that off. And he's got some Dave Marcus stuff going on. Those look like wingtips to me.
I mean, yeah, definitely driving shoes on those pedals for sure. So, and you can see the servos spinning for the brake. So I think that he's got some sort of, yeah, I think he's got some force feedback, some like responsive feedback in those brakes. So that's pretty sweet.
Very cool, but coming down into the braking zone. He's not quite deep enough on Scurry, so the veteran Italian is going to retain 8th place for the time being.
Back up the field, P3 and GTO. Reed Miller's going to try it on Javier Del Olmo again. There he is, coming around to the outside as Del Olmo goes defensive. Reed Miller trying to sneak it up the outside. Both of them well on the brakes. Reed's not quite clear. Javier doesn't really want to challenge it, though. Doesn't want to stick his nose in there this late in the game. It's very easy to stick your nose in too far.
Oh, great cut back here from Del Olmo. He gets a run. He's going to try and get the overlap, and he does. But this is boxing in. Stefan Leslie behind him. He's going to have to wait patiently and hope not to interrupt this. Wheel-to-wheel down through Speaker's corner and the outside to Del Olmo. Not sure if that'll work. It does. A little bit of wheel spin from Reed Miller will hold him up.
Yeah, but I think Del Olmo, good. He did not get held up by Leslie as Leslie stuck it into the corner a little bit deeper than he probably wanted to, but he just wanted to get out of the way of this fight. But Del Olmo not super strong through the corner. Reed Miller with a good run off of it. He's going to look to the outside. He's going to swap to the inside on braking. No. Del Olmo later on the brakes, but misses the apex, gives an opportunity to Reed, but late apex from Javier Del Olmo keeps Reed behind.
And I think this is going to be white flag for these two because I think Machajewski, who you see here, is on the white flag lap for him. Yes, we got a minute left, but I don't think we're close enough to that finish line for him to get there in time. It might be a little close, though. We'll have to keep an eye on this.
It's going to be very close. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure whether or not the white flag is flying already, and if it isn't, it's unlikely that iRacing will fly it during this lap. So we'll have to keep our eyes on to see whether or not this is Jakob's final lap.
We're down to about 30 seconds now. Yeah, this could be right on the border. So Leskala, Lake, Del Olmo, and Miller will be wanting to pay attention to that to figure out when they want to time their attack for the final run. 20 seconds left. I have no idea.
It's white flag for our top 5 in the GTOs now as they just crossed the line, I believe. It's going to be tight. I think he's going to make it to the line, Joe. That's going to be white flag this time by.
4 seconds left, and he crosses. Yes, white flag this time.
Oh my
you are
gosh.
correct. Wow.
That's 2 minutes of extra fuel these guys have to run. That's the timer that just ended. They planned for 40 minutes. They're going to be racing 42.
Well, hopefully they gave themselves that buffer. Oh, and Del Olmo side by side once again with Reed Miller. Miller down to the inside. Del Olmo doing everything he can to defend, but unfortunately there's just not enough oomph in the car. He's going to have to fight back.
Yeah, a little bit of a misshift coming off the corner means he fell behind Reed, so that's going to separate this a little bit. I could report that Nick McConnell and Robert Plumley are side by side for the 5th and 6th positions of the GTOs. These GTOs don't want to give up these fights.
Certainly not, and they've already got Machajewski just behind them right now, so they're going to get lapped. And in fact, I think he might catch Del Olmo and Miller.
It's definitely within the realm of possibility as Miller gets pushed out wide. That's Del Olmo who tries to look to the inside, but it's just nothing doing around Pool. These Audis just don't have the grip to do some sort of challenge like that. Machajewski 7 seconds behind this battle. Reed Miller has to pick up the pace if he wants to finish, if he wants another chance at this, but I don't think he does. Maybe he's trying to hold up Del Olmo and get Machajewski to go by, but 5 seconds back. It's going to be close.
That's a risky maneuver to try and hold him up because now he's going to have a big toe. So Del Olmo might be able to get by him here. He tries to take a much tighter line through, and it does sort of work.
Here comes Machajewski.
Slipstream. The number 1 is approaching. Does he hold back and let them fight? He's got room to do so. Del Olmo takes a little bit of a peek. Doesn't have enough speed. No, here comes Machajewski. This is the last lap for them. So he's got to make this pass now. And Reed Miller is going to hold on to the right side, hoping he doesn't run into. No, he spins it. He spins it and gives up the spot at the last corner as Machajewski is going to take the win here in the GTPs.
And Reed Miller's going to come over to the 3rd position. Robert Plumley got pushed out wide by Topi Kortaniemi, 2nd place in the GTPs, but he's still going to take the position away from Nick McConnell. Nick is going to finish in 6th, Plumley in 5th.
Sintez Galindo with a valuable 3rd place over each of his rivals, and that will allow him to continue to stretch away with the points lead as Krejcik will finish farther back. Leskala is now, for some reason, 3.5 seconds ahead of Lake. I wonder if Lake is the one that is short-fueled here.
I would assume so, but also that battle that we saw that broke up this fight really broke up this battle. But that being said, both Yuko and Phil are having to soft shoot because they ran 2 extra laps around here that they did not expect. So keep that in mind as they're both going around here. Phil's definitely backing it off. I'm sure he's short fueled.
What if we could hop on board and take a listen? Because this is an unusual situation for them.
Yeah, very unusual. You don't expect to run an extra 2 laps around any circuit, so these guys definitely trying to hang on to it. They're the only ones of the GTOs who have yet to finish, and Phil being very gentle on the throttle right now, continuing to fall back of Yuko Leskala, 3.7 seconds. Just, I could tell he's being very ginger with it right now. He could coast it to the line from the exit of, approaching the bus stop, but it's going to be tight as Emerson Gaudin goes around him. Yuko Leskala, 4 seconds to the good, though, Joe.
Yeah, I was listening there as we rode on board, and it didn't sound like he was lifting and coasting. He might be short shifting, like you said, just to save a little bit because he's definitely losing some time. But Yuko Leskala, once again, is able to fight back and close down the gap that little bit more with a win here at Spa-Francorchamps. That's going to take us to a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll come back with the official results as well as driver interviews, so stick around.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps after an interesting race and a bit of a crazy finish there, especially for the GTOs. Jaka Maciejewski takes the victory, getting his 3rd straight win. Topi Kortaniemi, if it weren't for that bad start, maybe could have had a shot at this one, but it wasn't meant to be. Heitor Sintes Galindo picking up the scraps, a distance behind, though, 20 seconds for 3rd, and he fought off Farron Grau for much of that race, who was less than a second behind him. It was Fabian Jungbluth who finished in the top 5, with Martin Krejcik back in at 6, losing valuable points to Sintes Galindo in the championship. Seamus Power, good run today from 12th to 7th. Nim Cross as well, up 4 from 11th to 8th as J.D. Walker finished 9th, and Javier Mosquera rounds out your top 10. Jason Clapper, without a qualifying time, still magnificent gains, up to 11th as Timothy Vaughn was 12th, whilst Olsen, with his damage on the car, was 13th in the end, just had no straight line speed. It was Carlos Fonseca in 14th and Cam Porter in 15th position, Stefan Leslie P16. Then you've got Christian Arribas 17th, and last one on the lead lap was Emerson Gaudin in 18th. Kurt Clapper was not as successful as Jason. He wound up a lap down in 19th, 2 laps down for Shane Gray 20th, and Juan Aragones in 21st. From there it was DNFs for those behind Tim. What about the GTOs?
Well, Yuko Leskala was able to hang on from pole to the win, even after fighting off a very hard fight from Phil Lake. They just got separated in the second to last lap by a couple of GTPs, and that put the nail in the coffin for Phil's chance at the win. Javier Del Olmo holds on over Reed Miller after Reed Miller spun out in the final corner, and so that puts Reed Miller down to fourth. Javier Del Olmo into third position, with Robert Plumley finishing in the fifth spot over Nick Macano. So a good fight between those two in the final stages of the lap. They got Mark Olay, who finishes ahead. Kind of had a little bit of a lonely race for him today, with Devin Donaghy able to get Franco Scurry and Gianluca Gabbiani in the final 5 laps. And that puts Ryan Van Verst in 11th position, with Pablo Rangel in the 12th spot, with Alejandro Silva Cardi in the 13th position, with Angel Pina in 14th, Axel Villar in the 15th spot, with Lucas Azelis in 16th. The rest are DNFs: John Urban, Patrick Hanauer, Lincoln Twid, Nathan Cameron, Tim Wilkinson, Bojan Gajic, and Jesus Amandure.
And we've got our winner in the GTPs ready to talk to us after that one, as it seems like this one is really determined by that race start. Jakub Maciejewski taking the victory. And Jakub, I was just saying, it seems like that start really made such a huge difference in this one. You pulled away as soon as you came out of the final chicane, and it seems like Topi got really caught napping by that.
Yeah. These past starts are always like that, really. The positions like P2, P4, P6 are all with a big disadvantage, since like I just go get a wide exit and then start whenever I want, and it's really hard to get a good reaction. So yeah, Topi lost like 3 places, and then it was just to build as big gap as possible, since I knew that we have both quite a similar pace. And yeah, I managed to do so. Then it went quite well.
It looked like it, but there was a moment where I heard you getting on the radio talking to some of the lap traffic. What was going on there? What caused you some problems?
So there was a GTP. Probably he bought the car like yesterday and joined the Friday race, since I saw him yesterday, and he just parked at the exit of bus stop, like parked on the racing line, probably to try to let me go, but like that's not the way you do it. He literally stopped on the racing line, and yeah, I got a bit mad, since that wasn't the first time these guys were driving a GTO pace in a GTP. So yeah, I mean, of course you're allowed to drive, but like it's nice if you think before if it's really worth to drive if you're not really well prepared.
I understand the frustration completely. So 3 wins in a row. You seem like you've got quite the momentum on your side right now. Are you going to keep stealing these wins from the championship contenders?
Yeah, that's the plan, and I hope it will be done. Unless, like, I think I have the pace, but we have Lime Rock Park in a few weeks, and Oran Park, and this track will be really tough with the multi-class. So I hope everything will go well, and then I think we can challenge Aitor a bit.
Well, we're glad that you've come in, because certainly given us some interesting excitement there at the front. Congratulations on the victory, and we look forward to seeing you at Lime Rock.
Thank you. Goodbye.
That was Jakub Maciejewski. As up next, I believe Adam has caught up with Phil Lake, second in the GTOs.
Yeah, absolutely. A great race from Phil, and good driving all around for the leaders of the GTOs for sure. Phil, not exactly the position you were hoping for, broken up by a GTP battle right at the end there, but talk to me about this race. It was really close between you and Yuko for the final 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty close the whole time. I was just sitting behind him, trying to keep the off tracks under control. And then the GTOs ruined it. The GTPs ruined it even. So, I mean, the whole race was just me sitting there waiting for the last few laps, and then the last few laps didn't happen. So I have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, it seems like the traffic around here was not super kind to the GTOs today. Cut quite a few broken up battles throughout there. I mean, with such a high speed track, how do you manage the traffic? How far ahead do you have to be thinking when it comes to trying to coordinate with those GTPs so everyone can get through quickly?
I'll probably get some. People won't be happy with me in the Discord, but there's no coordination. We move out of their way when they do something stupid. We make sure everybody has a safe race by giving them the space they need when they do stupid stuff. And they seem to think that we just complain for the sake of complaining. So it can work, and we see all the time that the top guys that are winning races in the GTP, they know how to get through traffic. That's why they're winning races. That's why they're finishing every week, and they're doing well in the championship. But everybody else just doesn't seem to care. They think GTOs are just obstacles in their way, and it doesn't matter. The guy that ruined the fight passed me, and he wasn't even on the same lap as the guy behind him, and he passed me in the middle of a corner that's critical for a run down the next straight. And he could have just waited, lost half a second. Nobody loses any time. So I don't know. I don't see any solution for it, but it's really, really frustrating.
Well, with no solution to traffic, next week we head to Lime Rock with the West Bend Chicane. What are your thoughts heading into that race?
That'll be another race where we just have to move out of the way and try and survive. I usually do well at those. I'm pretty good at getting out of the way of people and living. Like, I think 3 or 4 times today I had to just, at the very last second, miss the apex, give some space. So I'm sure I'll do fine. The championship's still on, so second is okay. It's when you're right there, when you have the pace to fight for the win, it's very frustrating.
Well, very frustrating indeed, but still coming home with second in the silver today. Is there anyone you want to thank for your run?
You guys, as always, and my teammates, and Yuko. It was a good fight for the little bits that we had.
Well, thanks for talking to us, Phil, and we'll see you next week at Lime Rock. That was Phil Lake, who finished in second position for the GTOs, and I've got Toby Cortiniemi, who finished in second in the GTPs. He's going to be catching up with Joe Peak.
Indeed, Topi from the ring over to Spa, but unfortunately on this one, you weren't able to quite dominate the same way. Let's talk about that start. It looked like Jakob kind of caught you sleeping.
Yeah, I think Jacob made me a trap. I noticed I was in front of him when the safety car was about to leave, and I had to slow down, and the engine broke down, and I actually had to clutch in to get any power out of the thing, and I see like 3 or 4 cars past me.
It's got to be frustrating. You made your way back up through. I mean, at that point, did you just kind of try and cruise and hope that maybe he would make a mistake to help you out?
Yeah, I was really pushing for the last 6 or 7 laps, because I noticed my lap times were even or maybe even better than his. But for the last 2 laps, I noticed that I was running on fumes, and I was half a kilo short of fuel, so I had to save some and lift a lot in the end of the straights.
We kind of wondered about that, but the way that it went a little longer than we expected, but you made it in the end. So we've got you in all 3, it seems, of the classic cars now at this point. So are you going to start taking up maybe the 87 NASCAR Cup car soon?
I don't know. That's an idea.
Well, if you do, you have to let us know. Maybe we could get the community to have us come cover those as well. Well, again, congratulations on another podium, and we look forward to seeing you at Lime Rock.
Thanks, Joe.
That was Topi Cortiniemi taking second place today, and it looks like we got third as well. Adam has caught up with Aitor Sentes Galindo, still our championship leader.
Yeah, absolutely. Aitor, you had a hard fight with Farron Grau and Fabian Jungbluth and Martin Krejcik over the course of this race as Jungbluth and Krejcik fell off later on. But yeah, it was a good race for sure for everyone involved up there in the top 3 positions, and just waiting for Aitor to drop down in here.
Looks like we may have lost him for a second. Let's see if we can drag him back in. see if we can get him in here. Here we go.
Yeah, Aitor. So a good fight for you between yourself and Farron Grau today, and also with Fabian with Martin Krejcik earlier on in the race. But talk to me about that battle you had.
Well, it wasn't exactly a battle because we were thinking about the championship points. So yeah, it wasn't exactly a battle. It was standing behind me so I could get more points today. I feel rather sorry for him because, well, he had a really good race, even though he got collected by a louse. It was nothing, but yeah, I had no tires. My tires were done by lap 10, and Topi got away. But yeah, P3. I'm happy with the result because for the championship, it's the best I could hope for. Now I need to finish 4th in the rest of the races to get the championship. But yeah, it wasn't a fight. It was just let me go and get more points for being championship.
So what do you think it was that did it for the tires today? Was it were you just pushing a little bit too hard early to try and stay up with Topi, or was there something? Was the traffic kind of playing a role in that?
It was the setup because Ferran and me were running with wing 3, which is lower than the rest, and it for me at least it was pretty hard on the tires, even though he got even better tires than me. So I think it was a mix of me pushing really hard to get Topi, and also the setup, which wasn't good on the tires. But still, it was a really good set. I could do very good laps. So, yeah, it was a mix of both.
Well, Aitor, still, that being said, a 3rd place for you today. Is there anyone you want to thank for your performance?
Absolutely. You guys at GSRC for the broadcast, my family and friends watching, the Kamel community, the GTO. Sorry for them. Today I wasn't very kind to them. So yeah, thank you all. See you next week at Lime Rock Park.
Absolutely. See you then, Aitor. That was Aitor Sentes Galindo, who finished in the 3rd position today in the GTPs. And next up, we're going to be talking to Nimcross Jr., and he's caught up with Joe Peak.
Indeed, very special guest with us. Nim, congratulations on a top 10 today, an excellent run to 8th. But I have to ask, how much are you able to put day job out of your mind in this situation and really focus on the racing, especially in as chaotic a series as this one?
Hey, good to see you guys. My day job doesn't affect me in all these races. In the end, I'm a sim racer just like everybody else. I really, really enjoy driving and racing, and this series I love a lot. I've been having some problems the last 3 weeks in the mist because I injured my foot, and I only have one foot. I was born without a left leg. So I'm just happy to be back, and I just wanted to tell you guys that I'm really committed to this series. I love it, and I wanted to let you know why I was away for so long.
Well, I mean, we're ecstatic to have you back for sure. It's been fun to watch. It does seem like you've been getting more and more to grips with the car. A top 10, are top 5 is potentially possible, especially Lime Rock up next. That's going to throw everybody for a loop. I
really love Lime Rock. I think I do well in traffic. I do well in, there's weird situations. I don't know that I'm top 5 on speed, but I feel like I'm pretty consistent and fairly safe out there. That's part of my job, I think. But I always try to take care of everybody around me. But top 5 is not out of the question, and I appreciate you noticing I've improved a little bit. I've really been working at it.
It's been fun to watch. Well, while we got you, obviously you have the means to shout out to whoever you want, but who would you like to give a mention before you head off here?
Well, obviously iRacing. Without them, this couldn't happen. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody in the race, and I appreciate all of our 222,000 members. So thank you very much.
Great stuff there from Nimcross. Not only a racer here in Kamel GT, but the chief steward at iRacing with an 8th place finish here today. But we are going to close out, and a big thank you ourselves to the Kamel GT community for coming back for another season of coverage. But also want to give a thank you to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed on your screen, including iRacing right on there, because we appreciate them as well. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out her Bandcamp for more awesome work. And thanks to the team today, Adam, Zach, and Dougie. You can find more info about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media. Also, please check out our merchandise store at gsrc.storenvy.com. We keep a link in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment. The next race, as we mentioned, Lime Rock Park, will be Saturday, May 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. But up next, we have the Sim Racers for Mental Health Indy 500. That'll be around 9:30 p.m. Eastern tonight here on GSRC. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.